What's going on, everybody? Ryan Collins with Midwest Outdoors here, bringing you part 2 of our free tools that you need to become a more efficient angler. So in episode 1, we went over Navionics, the web app and mobile app, along with Google Earth. Those free tools I use almost on a daily basis to help me be more efficient on the water, whether that be Navionics to help me eliminate water or find potential productive areas based on seasonal patterns, and then Google Earth to take those productive areas that we found, break them down even more, and try to find some more subtle, lesser known areas that may be holding or congregating fish, especially along the bank line on stuff that we can see under the water that we may not see at other times. So we broke down a lake nearby my house that I have actually never been to before, CJ Brown. We created quick 5 waypoints on Google Earth. We marked some laydowns, some rock piles, some trees. So what we're going to do in part 2 is we're going to hop back into my computer. I'm going to show you guys how to export those 5 waypoints, load them onto an SD card, take them out to my boat in my garage, load them onto my Solix 12 units, and then so that way if I ever go to CJ Brown, I know exactly where those waypoints are that we found on Google Earth. So if the water's up, I know exactly where those rock piles, those laydowns are, and it's going to help me be more efficient on the water so I spend less time looking for fish and again, hopefully catching more fish. So there's a few things we need to do before we export these. So let's hop into my computer. I'll show you what we need to do and then we'll go from there. Okay, so we're back at the computer here. We're going to go ahead and relaunch Google Earth from the end of part 1. You can see once Google Earth loads here, we have our CJ Brown folder on the left-hand side that we created already with our 5 waypoints. So easy way to get to these waypoints, just double-click one and it'll take you right to them. So as we zoom in here to CJ Brown, you can see here are the 5 waypoints that we created down this bank. We've got the 3 laydowns here, trees, some rock piles, and then there are some more up farther down the bank. Normally, again, I would be creating a waypoint on every single one of these pieces of cover. So all 3 of these laydowns, the trees, the rock piles. But for the purpose of this video, what we want to do is take these 5 waypoints here, export them over to our electronics. So we'll just keep it simple with these 5. So what we're going to do here is on the left-hand side, we want to make sure that the entire folder is selected, not just a single waypoint here. We want the master folder selected. We're going to go up to File, Save, Save Place As, and it's going to copy the folder name. So we've already got it as CJ Brown. We'll just save it to our desktop for the time being. And the main thing you'll notice is that it's going to save as a KMZ file. I know for a fact that my Humminbird Solix units do not accept a KMZ file. I do not believe that any electronics do. I had the Lowrance in the past. They did not. So here's the few little extra steps you have to do to make everything work. So we're going to click Save. Once we hit Save, we are going to come down to our browser again, whichever internet browser you use, whether it be Chrome, Explorer, whichever. And we are going to go to gpsvisualizer.com. So you can see it auto-populated. It's just how much I use it. Again, it's GPS Visualizer. So we're going to see where it says upload a GPS file. What we're going to do is we're going to choose a file. Here's our cjbrown.kmz that we just saved. We're going to go ahead and select that. You can see it populated here. And now we want to choose an output format as a GPX file. So all this is doing is converting that KMZ over to a GPX. I'm 99.9% sure all electronics can read a GPX file. So whether you have Lowrance, Humminbird, Garmin, any of the major 3, Simrad, they're all going to be able to read a GPX file. So we need to convert this KMZ over to the GPX. We go ahead and hit convert. There we go. Your data has been converted to GPX. Go ahead and click on this link to download. So we can see it downloaded in the bottom left-hand side here. I'm going to go ahead and hit show in Finder. So it's in our downloads folder. As you can see here, it did change the name. So what we need to do to keep me organized, I like to go ahead and rename this. The most important thing about this is you need to keep that .gpx at the end. So let's just go ahead and rename this to cjbrown.gpx. Perfect. So we can go ahead and minimize this. Go ahead and minimize Google Earth as well. So here's the next important step. We need to take an SD card and insert that into your computer. So whether you have a Lowrance, a Humminbird, whichever electronics you have, you want to make sure that you are using the correct SD card. My Humminbird Solix units take the full size SD card. I don't have any laying around right here, but a full size SD card and not the little micro SD. My Lowrance units in the past took the micro SD. So I made it simple on myself. I got the SD card that has the micro SD along with it. It's just the adapter. Next important step with this, most electronics, again, I'm mostly familiar with Lowrance and Humminbird, cannot read an SD card over 32 gigs. So you want to make sure that you have a 32 gig or lower SD card. I bought an 8 gig card strictly for Waypoint management. So that's what I use. So I know that that SD card is strictly for all of my Waypoints. So I've inserted that into my computer. So as we open up Finder here, we can see it's called No Name. It's empty right now. I cleared it out for the purpose of this video. And all we need to do is go over to our downloads again. We're going to find that cjbrown.gpx file that we just converted and simply just click and drag that over to that SD card. So my computer just made a noise letting me know it's transferred. Now we can see under this SD card, we have cjbrown.gpx. It's that simple. So now we can go ahead and eject that. And now we're going to take this SD card. I'm going to bring you with me out in the garage to my Humminbird Solix units and show you how I take those 5 waypoints and import them directly into my unit. So let's go. Alrighty, so here we are. We're at the console of my boat sitting behind the Humminbird Solix 12. We've got it all fired up. So as I mentioned before, here's my SD card slot. So I have one chip in there already. That is my Navionics chip that I use. I also interchange that with LakeMaster as well. So here's the SD card that has the KMZ file on it. Again, I showed you that it's the adapter version. So all we have to do is plug that into the unit. Mine has 2 slots here, so we just go ahead and push that in. Give it a second to read it. SD card was successfully encrypted, so it's just saying that it is now working with the unit. The unit can now read that SD card. So really simple on a Humminbird unit. I know it's really simple on Lowrance too. For Humminbird, we're going to go and click all tools down at the bottom. We are going to go over here to where it says files. Now we're going to see over here on the left hand side where it says import nav data. So we're going to click the import nav data button. Now it's going to say select a file to import. If we can focus here, select a file to import, and we have cjbrown.gpx listed right there. We're going to go ahead and click that. Give it a second to import. Here we go. New data hasn't been imported, and we can see that it has imported 5 waypoints. So let's go ahead and close all this out. Go back to our home. We can go up here to the chart. So there's CJ Brown. It's already loaded up. As we zoom in here, here's the east bank that we were looking at with all of our waypoints. So as we zoom in here, we can now see our 5 waypoints that we created on Google Earth right here on the east bank of CJ Brown. So if we zoom in some more here, we can see here are those 2 laydowns that we were looking at before, those rock piles, that tree. So when I go to put in on CJ Brown, you can see I have no trails on this lake. I've never been to this lake before. Otherwise, you would see my trails of my boat running around. So those are the only 5 waypoints I have on this lake. I know when I put my boat in, I know on this east bank over here, there are 3 laydowns and a bunch of rock piles that I can target while everyone else is down here fishing this marina that we looked at in part 1 with all this riprap around here, I can completely ignore that if I wanted to. Run up this bank some and target those areas that we were able to find that hopefully is overlooked. So I hope I was able to show you just how easy it is to use these free online tools to become a more efficient angler, using the Navionics app to eliminate water, find productive areas. Once we've located some productive areas we want to key in on, using Google Earth and historical imagery to get eyes under the water to where we can find structure and cover just like these and export those directly onto our electronics. So that way when we're on the water, we can spend more time focusing on areas that should be productive. So if you guys did find this video helpful, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, leave a like. Midwest Outdoors has a ton of fishing and hunting related videos on our channel, everything to help you enjoy the outdoors. So that way you know which lakes you need to be researching, and once you get there, what you need to be throwing and how you need to be throwing it. So again, I hope this video is helpful. Go ahead and leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and we will catch you on the next one.